The Hood has been out for less than a week, and I have one question. How does a character that feels this hard kill have basically a 50% win rate? Because after more than 354,000 tracked ranked matches, he is sitting at a 50.27% win rate currently this Friday. And I think that that number is hiding what's actually probably making him so strong. On paper, 50.27% sounds completely balanced. He wins one, loses one, nothing crazy. But then you look at how often he's being played, how much space he's creating, and especially what is happening to the team-ups around him. For example, the one with Magik sits at a 62.7% win rate, but we'll get into that later. That is where I'm starting to think that the real Season 9.5 Hood story begins. If you've played into a good Hood already this season, then you probably know exactly what I'm talking about here. You finally get through one of his first layers of defense, then he throws out another one of his barriers. He cuts off your healing to your tanks because that wall doesn't allow your supports to get through without getting blinded, being exposed to pressure in that case. Suddenly, the fight keeps going when you thought it was going to be over, you thought he was going to die. He's got his defense, and then he has his separation that he creates between your team and your ability to heal or do damage to his team. So the separation that he creates, while he's not deleting people with his pistol, this separation is very important, and it's constantly making you spend more resources on him just because you want to move him or get him to fall back. And I'd say that this is where the win rate actually starts to make a little bit more sense to me. Guys, the Hood is still brand new. We're talking about a week old here. Everybody still wants to play him. 354,000 tracked matches in just a week. You know, the dual pistols make it very tempting to want to play him as a tanky duelist. I've already seen it. Good players chasing down kills, overextending, dumping every single one of your defense rounds into trying to dive a support, and then you're curious as to why you die. He's still a tank, guys, and I think that the players that are getting the most value out of him right now are the ones that are using the pressure of his guns and the speed boost with his guns to hold space, protect your own team, and then just pick the right time and right moment to turn the fight. Honestly, I think a lot of people are focusing a little bit too much on his ult right now as well, the demon transformation. In my opinion, especially from a strategist perspective, I would say that his human form, just his normal form, is what makes him so annoying right now. He can lay down a lot of range pressure with the pistol. He's got the cloak to protect his teammates and himself. He has the barriers that blind you when you try and walk through them, and they can create some decent separation between your healers and your tank. Sure, none of it sounds as great as turning into the gun demon and staying alive for so long and having your ult do so much damage to supports and things like that if they're close up to you. But I would say, again, that stuff is just more important because you can just force them out of position. And I think that's where the tank value comes into play. On the topic of the Hood's ult, though, I believe it is pretty strong right now. I think the fact that he's able to fire those shots off so quickly and have such a high health percentage in his ult, I mean, sure, it's a stationary ult, so you need to be able to give back to it a little bit with the amount of damage that he can deal, as well as the amount of health that he has. And then if you don't kill it, he can just go back into the Hood form and go back to normal and hold a point for a little bit longer. So I think there's ups and downs to it. I do think that he is a balanced character, and I think that his ult is balanced. Again, from a strategist perspective, I've been melted by this thing. If you're close to it, it can fire so quick, and I think it definitely deserves some respect. But here's the stat that made me actually want to make this video. Yes, the Hood himself is at a 50.27% win rate right now, but his team up with Magik, the Void Pentagram, it's currently at a 62.8% win rate across almost 50,000 tracked matches. And we talked about this in the Brolic board on Tuesday. I think it's such a ridiculous gap right now. This team up is super strong. The effect explains a lot of it as well. Magik stepping discs inside of the circle. She gets energy back, and she can summon those demons. The Hood on the team, those demons gain another 100 health and an extra 2.5 meters of attack range. Magik is already performing near the top of the meta like we looked at on Tuesday. Giving her the stronger demons and just more control over an area makes her such a powerful dive right now. And I feel like that's why this team up is so strong right now. And the Hood is giving out super, super strong team ups right now. And guys, Magik is not the only hero right now that's getting extra value from having these Hood team ups. Cloak, Jubilee. Cloak gets the upgraded Shroud, where it becomes bigger, and then allies who pass through it get a 15% damage boost. Jubilee gets extended hit scan, and she's super, super powerful right now with that extended hit scan. So if we look at the pattern here, the Hood is giving out barriers and just so much defensive value on his own. And then his team up presence is just making so many other characters around him so much stronger right now, which could bump his win rate up even more. I think that's why I care a lot more about what happens to a team with the hood rather than his current solo win rate. If we look at these team up rates, especially this season, we could tell why it's so important. So let's ask ourselves this: is the hood broken? Me personally, I'm not ready to say this just yet. I think sitting at a 50.27% win rate after more than 354,000 matches is pretty fair. However, that sampling is just way too big to ignore. I do, however, think that the value of him is just hiding in places that a basic hero win rate wouldn't fully show. His defensive layers can be super frustrating. His ultimate can extend a push very well. And his team ups that he's enabling right now are just way stronger than his own win rate number. So if something eventually were to get toned down, I would say to watch team ups and ult length rather than he needs to have his pistol damage nerfed, which I don't think we'll see. I think that it's very balanced, and I think his kit is mostly balanced. So if you're playing the hood, I would say to stop trying to treat every single fight like you need to be the one getting kills. You're not a duelist, you're still a tank. Keep holding good angles, make the other team try to burn their cooldowns into your defense, protect your teammates by carrying the damage because you're a tank, and then use your ult when your team can walk forward with you. Against the hood, I'm doing pretty much almost the opposite. I don't want to throw every single cooldown into the first barrier that he throws out, and I definitely don't want my whole team stacked in front of the ult shots. So force out his defensive tools, all of his cooldowns, and then you commit when there's a window to kill him. So everybody, that's where I'm at with the hood after week 1. I would say that his 50.27% win rate doesn't tell a full story right now. We should give it some more time, but I think that he's pretty balanced. I think his team ups are strong. I think he gives out a lot of team ups. But let me know what you guys think. Is he broke? Or are we still just learning how to play into him? I would really like to see what you think. Let me know down below and subscribe. It helps a lot. It helps me to make videos like this. And BrolicSon out.